Good morning, good afternoon. I think it's still morning for me here on the West Coast. Good day, folks. Welcome to Perspectives in Focus. My name is James Hicks. Today we are going to have a fun conversation. We're going to talk very technically, but we're going to have an interesting conversation to make it relative to everyone out there. Behind the scenes, I have Sara Savelli. Sara is a global manufacturing science and technology project manager who is focused on cell and gene technologies at a very large life science and biotechnical organization. Her organization is a leading supplier for active chemical ingredients and solutions to the pharmaceutical and agrochemical industry. Today's discussion, is going to be focused on making these incredibly technical terms and functions and processes more relatable to each of us, the consumer. We're essentially going to be answering the question of why her role and her company matter to the greater good. And we're going to really try to dive into understanding the technology behind the science. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Sara Savelli to the show. Sara, how are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you, James. Thanks for having me today.
Fantastic. I'd be remiss if I didn't at least say hello to the folks who are joining us. I told people that I was talking to a rock star today. So people are jumping in and saying and showing their appreciation, saying hello. So thank you all for
Hi.
joining the conversation. And if you have a question for Sara, please put a Q in front of it and we can probably dialogue and converse about that as well. So Sara, I tell you what, I gave kind of the quick elevator introduction of you, but it's always best to have the individual actually speak and say who they are. So if you don't mind telling the people who you are.
Absolutely. So let's say for the large audience, I am manufacturing science and technology scientist, and I work in science and tech for a small group of individuals familiar with the terminology scientists in the biotech industry. My role is manufacturing science and technology project manager. So, as James mentioned, it is a work for in the large biotech industry. And we manufacture IC drugs. And the role of NSAT is very particular. So let's say that NSAT play a critical role in technology transfer. So technology transfer is a process of transferring a technology from two entities, right? So, and in my context, these entities are sending unit, which is the role of the client, a research-based organization, to a receiving unit, which is the CDMO, right? So the industry has the ability to manufacture drug products and to ensure that the drug product is safe and effective for the end user. So why the technology transfer is so important? So technology transfer per se isn't a problem, right? So aspect of my work, but it is a mandatory requirement from a regulatory standpoint. So basically ensures that research is properly transferred to the clinical application. So, and that's absolutely key to make sure gaps are identified in preclinical phase and they are fixed, they are mitigated before these drugs are actually used, right? So that's the high-level summary of what I do.
That's the 30,000-foot level for the people like me sitting in the back of the room. If you could, so again, how that translates, how that relates to us, either again from an understanding of your role and I guess an understanding of your organization and how that relates to us on a day-to-day basis, what you do, right? How do I see what you do in terms of what I do on a daily basis for myself and for my family? Again, are there products, services, I don't want to put any words in your mouth, but again, what are the aspects of what you do at your organization and how do I take advantage of your research?
Absolutely. So yes, I mean, we don't do MSAT doesn't do research actually. We are mainly involved in translating that research, right? So we make sure that the manufacturing process that is behind, the drug itself, the physical drug that is delivered into the end user is robust enough, right? And meet all the requirements for the drug product to be safe and effective. So, and that's an important portion because we are not creating a job that I do, I'm not generating the badge, so that stage of tech transfer actually to the protein of agents. but it's a preparation phase, right? So we make sure that everything is set, right? So the equipment is ready, uh, facility is ready, right? The materials are in, and everything meets the GMP requirements. The GMP requirements are good manufacturing practices, and are simply a set of rules and procedures that are adopted by the pharmaceutical industry to make sure that they, deliver a drug that is safe for the end user. So there will be a little more those simple words.
Got you. Got you. Okay.
But it's cross-functional activity. So let it's cross-functional. So we really work as a team. So I take care of the portion that is regards the manufacturing process and the materials that we use in the manufacturing process. And make sure that all gaps are closed. But of course, there are thousands of aspects, right? And clinical base and take care of in the quality control, quality assurance. And so we really, work as a team to make sure that we are delivering this benefits again. So, because that's what we do. While we're reading life-saving drugs, and life-saving drugs has had a value, like the value is in their benefits. And I think that's exactly
Okay.
its job also.
I appreciate that because that actually is the statement that I was looking for, right? The quality assurance aspect, right? So you're providing technical expertise around quality assurance for the products and services that your organization is delivering.
Exactly.
Now, you talked about a lot of medical issues and things like that. There's a ton of things that are out there affecting society today. Now, are there specific ailments out there that your organization is focused on? Cancer, the world stopped for 18 months because of COVID and things like that. Are there something specific that you're focused on?
Absolutely. So we need to make a difference because the biotech industry I work for is large. So as you really mentioned in the very beginning, we specialize in different kind of biotechnologies, right? So I can speak to cell and gene therapy, because that's specific, the focus on cell and gene technologies. So maybe it's worth explaining what cell and gene technology is, right? So it is, let's say that these therapies are groundbreaking discoveries, and I really like to find groundbreaking discoveries because they really have the ability to treat, to cure a variety of diseases from genetic disorder, disease, cancer, what if you need about even metabolic disorders, and they really have the ability to offer a better quality of life to especially those individuals that have unmet clinical needs and they don't have other treatment options. So, and why is that? Because I like, defining some therapies as advanced medicinal therapy products, therapy medicinal products. So ATM uses European Commission likes to define them. And, they are, of course, therapies used in humans based on cell and genes tissues. So many protocols are combined, right? So the cell and gene technologies, meaning that isolate cells from source that can, the patient or patient material is the applications of autologous or it can be a donor is the applications of the gene or isolating from a donor population. Next war. In the end, right, so after the manufacturing process, if you want to use that specific drug to treat a variety of patients, and that's, allogenic application. And so cell therapy, gene therapy focus on transfer of genetic material, right, to a body, to organism, and that genetic transfer, it happens via a bacterium like a target. It can be viral bacteria, non-viral bacteria if it's a plasmid. And then you really insert sequences, try to DNA, recombinant DNA. And then, when this approach is combined with cell therapy, what you do is you really have some cells where you expand it, and carry that genetic modification. And then you will really expand that, try to reach the clinical therapeutic dose to then return those cells into other patients or, deliver the cells to multiple patients again if it's the application. So that's the summary of what cell and gene is.
I got it. I got it. And thank you again for going into clarity and in detail on that, because again, I think a lot of times I'll talk to folks on the front end, right? Folks either on the marketing side, on purely the business side of talking about what an organization does and what their product, service, and offering is. But now we're peeling layers back. Now I'm talking to someone like you, Sarah, who sees behind the scenes, kind of talks what goes, how, I hate to say this, how the sausage is made, right? But again, and then we're translating that, hopefully trying to translate that to us, the individual, us, the end consumer, for understanding the value of the work that happens. So again, folks, like I said, we were going to talk about the technology behind the science, and Sara, Ph.D., is the person to talk to. Again, if you got a question about some of the offerings and the things that she does from a technology perspective, please do bring those up. Let me ask you, I guess, what drives that passion for you? That passion for science, that passion for information, that passion for uh, that quality assurance, making sure that what you and what your organization does. So let's talk about that, I guess, from a professional side. What drives your passion for science? Let me start right there.
It's definitely the mission, right? So it's the use of science and leveraging the science to help people. And that's not the drive my passion. I've reiterated really over the years to strong patient focus, both customer and patient focus. So this really emotional maturity really had started at pretty much when I graduated, right? So, and that's exactly what drives my passion, is what drives my passion, because there's a mission, really a noble mission behind what we do, what we work. So, and I mean, it's an awesome job, honestly speaking. So,
I love that. And where did you go to school? I'm just curious.
yeah, I'm Italian, and so I graduated. Yes, I'm Italian, so Italian origin, and actually moved to the US for recently. And I'm by education, molecular biotechnologist, and so I'm scientist. I graduated with a master's degree in molecular biotechnologist, and then actually I continued my studies. I awarded a 5-year postgraduate program that is considered equivalent outside Italy to a PhD.
Yeah.
But actually, I mean, we need to point out it's absolutely a PhD and his Bible, it's a 5 year postgraduate program. You need to do very different, distinct aspects, right? Career paths. And so if you take this postgraduate program as, most of the medical school and specialized in clinical biochemistry, it really means that you want to have a career in the healthcare industry, right? So, and it is very clinical. So that's why it needs strong customer patient focus. And so I started my career, remember, when the postgraduate program, I was working at hospitals. So that's where I started my career. And I did specifically in diagnostic medicine laboratory. So that's where I learned different kind of diagnostic technologies to analyze, biomarkers in biological fluids, all that kind of stuff. And then when I landed at, into a specific sector, which is transfusion medicine, transplant biology division that hospital, and that is a really, I think at that point started reading my growth. Yeah, I mean, when I started working in the genetic lab, and that's exactly the point where I learned to deal with work pressure and time pressure. Because I don't know if people know that, but especially when you are just what we used to do is really analyzing histocompatibility between the donor and the patient, right? In the context of bone marrow transplant or solid organ transplant. And what maybe the people out of the audience doesn't know is that when you have a deceased, donor, right? So that deceased donor, you have a really high time window, time frame to run all possible tests and make sure those results are accurate, because during that time, it's a really tight time frame during which your organ and that organ is kept alive. So you need to make sure in that time that you find the right match. And I think that was the moment where I saw that massive growth. And but then, when I did twist and switched from the diagnostic medicine to the social therapy field, and the first, and that happened actually in his way, because I was working on that. I think explains a lot of my passion, because the first 2-3 years of my postgraduate program actually wasn't paid, but I was working as a full-time employee.
Okay.
And but then when the hospital received its regional funding, and the work, budget was allocated to the solid tissue bank. That's where I was switched and got closer to the cell journey environment.
Love it. See, it was a loaded question because I knew the answer of where you went to school, and I knew that you were the scientist, but I did that for to show subject matter expertise, right, for the folks listening and watching. So folks understand that I know you're the real deal. Now everyone else knows that you're the real deal as well. What's great and what's interesting, and we didn't plan this, but you touched on some things about I'm gonna say the mental stress levels, or the amount of pressure on you to do your job and to do your role effectively. Um, I did want to go into something particularly, and let's talk about that, because again, we talked about the passion for science from a professional perspective, but again, everything that you do, everything that you're involved in, all different stages of diagnoses, all different stages of illness, things like that, that's got to wear on someone significant, right? And how you deal with that. So we talked about the professional side. Let's talk about the personal side. And I do want to bring up this particular tweet that you sent out, and go kind of in context about this, right? And I'll read it out to folks. After, don't be embarrassed too. I'm gonna read your tweet out online. After 15 minutes of pause and deep breathing, I can pretty much sum up my life in the following lines. I have had and still have hundreds of reasons to feel frustrated, and as many moments in which I've felt and feel desperately helpless. But I have 3 very good reasons to feel empowered. 1, I turned my passion into a career and I get paid to have fun. That's really cool right there, which is very rare. I have a mission that started with helping people in need even before realizing that was my mission, and it's now expanding into making the world a better place for future generations to live. That is the result of a long self-education process that is changing my beliefs and driving little meaningful actions in my daily life. My freedom. That cannot be taken for granted, and I will always be grateful to my old generation for what I have now. Life isn't perfect, but as a gift, I learned to appreciate the present, because what I have today might vanish tomorrow. So when such helpless moments come, I take a walk or a run. And if it is pouring outside, like it's doing right now in the East Coast, I don't care, because I love getting soaking wet and letting my feelings slip in the rain. Sarah, talk about this. This is
Yeah.
we got to go into this, right? Because this is timely. It's happening right now, and it speaks to everything literally that you just said. So let's talk about that right there. That's driving you, that keeps you sane, keeps you grounded.
Yeah, there's a lot to say about those lines.
That's a good one right there. That's a tweet right there that
Exactly.
you should be saving in the archives for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I was really experiencing in that moment this level of frustration. Um, well, I haven't, had it in life. I mean, I was definitely very lucky to have supported parents again, because my son also a little bit more in a situation where I thought, this still happens in life. So that's absolutely, that's the freedom. But I also had to, I had a lot of determination. I had to fight and to go be constantly with, a brother that was the genius of the thing. And trying to show the people around me that and a brain and an identity, right? So it's a movement beside that. And it was particularly difficult, because I remember when it was in high school, secondary school, even primary school, and I was my brothers and sisters. So I wasn't Sara, so I was my brothers and sisters always, every time. So, and I think, I embodied that from that time, uh,
Let's give her a second there. Probably having some internet issues
the
on her side.
was
There we go.
with my frustration, with life frustrations, it's really taking up.
Oh, there it is. Definitely storming in her neck of the woods in the country there. So that's why we were having some slight audio issues as well. But I had a feeling that this was happening. We'll give it a second for her to come back. There we go.
Again, I'm sorry.
No worries. It's that crazy storm happening on the East Coast. So
Yeah. So see, way that, I was used to cope with my daily frustration is really just taking a walk around. And I'm a solitary person, I have to tell you that. So even, I'm able to make tons of friends in a professional setting, because I have these networking capabilities. And also, huge dose of self-awareness. So I can say that I'm accomplished there, right? From a professional standpoint, because I've turned my passion right into a career. And so I mentioned it, but from a personal level, I don't feel exactly complete. So yes, I can tell you that my life is rich, right? It's rich because but I switched from a professional standpoint, and that's what really, keeps me motivating in my daily life. So that I can't say that I'm a complete person. A person learn I'm very shy, for instance, So I'm an introvert person. I really struggle to expand. And yeah, that's also the level of frustration.
Yeah.
It's the portion. Yeah.
That's and again, those vulnerabilities, those
Yeah.
just being able to be introspective and understanding our limitations, our whatever they may be, whatever adjective that you want to use, but being able to put that out there in the universe and acknowledge that and strive to do better each day, knowing where you came from, knowing where you are, knowing where you want to go. That's really what I read into that, right? You have respect for the ones that came before you. You have respect for your technology, your industry, your education, and you're utilizing your platform because you do have the platform, right? And your platform is also those last three letters at the end of your name, right? So that
Yeah.
right there, and I focus on that because I really like the fact of talking and putting on a pedestal and showing and giving everyone their flowers, women and minorities, especially in prominent position. So women in technology is huge, and we need more champions like you talking, sharing these stories, sharing these awkward, vulnerable stories as well, because that focuses and helps folks get into those STEM environments, so, right? Science, technology, education, engineering, and math. So had to get it right. So kudos to you on that. Appreciate that that dialogue and being vulnerable for a second. Let's talk about the role and talk about the future. So we talked about past and present, but future evolutions of your type of a role, what it is that you do, um, future evolution of things within your industry and your field of focus. What do you see for the biotechnology, agri-technology? Just again, what you see on a daily basis from your organization coming down the pipe?
Yeah. And this is an interesting question, actually. And I want to answer this question in the most accurate way because, I think, answer this question important to understand the market landscape. But necessarily, it's absolutely important because, it's absolutely key that to have a customer focus and a patient focus. But we are also part of a large organization and it has been competitors. So the market is very competitive. And so it's important that we'll learn to differentiate ourselves from the competitors. So, and I think that differentiation really comes from the leveraging the technology, right? So what technology has to offer. So, we have a lot of platforms, but I also perceive that there will be many others, speaking of consulting therapy and something like the German context. So there will be a lot of technology and technologies, right? So being developed and even charting the single clinical education. So how do we remain competitive, right? So how do we ensure that we remain staying business, especially if we actually sustain that competitive advantage? And then that is exactly, I can see the CGT market is highly influenced and driven by no progresses in technology. So one can do it from a CDMO perspective. It is important that we focus on automation, so or technology that really allows us to automate, industrialize, cell and gene therapy processes and to bring those processes to the market as soon as possible at an affordable price. And I know even artificial intelligence. There's a lot of focus on artificial intelligence or virtual reality, machine learning, all this kind of. I see them as enablers, as tools, right? That allows us to improve operational efficiency. And when you improve operational efficiency, you also, automate processes and you are a better chance to, produce, manufacture in a more efficient way at the lower costs. And I think that's important. It should be the focus. And, it helps us doing things differently from our competitors. And especially now, I see that these aspects are gaining a lot of attention from regulatory entities, especially the FDA and the law and the governance policy and procedures are really the highest value to entry in the working space. So I think it's key to understand, how patents and it's regulating those technologies. And yeah, I think
Okay.
we'll see a lot of advancement in terms of technology and new products. Yeah.
I got two. Now I have two questions. I only had one question that I was going to ask, but you brought something up that I kind of want to ask again and I keep saying it. I use this phrase, with the world stopping for 17 months, right? And
Mhm.
has that caused you, your team, your organization to pivot and focus more finely on COVID, right? Again, so you were doing work, you were doing business before the pandemic, right? And you probably focused on a number of different things, a number of different diagnoses, and a number of different technologies, things I need. But has what we as a planet have gone through this past 17 months has that taken obviously the priority over any of those other activities? And do you see any of that shifting, or do you see more resources coming? How has that affected you
Yeah.
on a day-to-day basis, right? What you focus on?
Yeah. So absolutely didn't change anything in which sense. So we remained sort of competitive, right?
Mm.
And we just increased our, portfolio. We just, increased it,
Mm.
introduced the more modalities, right? Within our portfolio. And yeah, we just started manufacturing. We just, focus a little bit more on what was an emergency situation at that time, but we still, kept absolutely under, manufacturing plants. So I mean, and we are allowed to buy the teams to you. It just wasn't, opportunity for us to explore, new areas of business. And which is absolutely the priority right now. I mean, and of course, material shortage of this kind of
Oh,
stuff,
yeah.
it's been a, a general problem, and that absolutely it's not affecting us.
My goodness, my goodness. All right, fun question, right? We dove all the way down, and we got real technical. But again, I'm a technologist by education and trade, and we talk technology. You talking platforms and hardware and stuff like that. For you, what's your favorite piece of technology? And don't say your cell phone. Lord, don't say. Whenever I ask this and people say their cell phone, I want to know. What's your favorite piece
You
of
really
technology?
want to say your favorite piece of technology? That specific question. Wow. So, uh, okay, I have to think about it. Oh, I think it is the self-separation machine.
My goodness. So hold on. You
Yes,
got to draw me a picture of
self-separation.
that or something. Yeah, we got to talk.
That is again, it's a self-separation is a sequence technology. So it's cool. But I love this. I mean, I think I learned to use this in the past. No, actually, there's another one. But like, because I forgot that one. That is my favorite. But I know I fucking mentioned. It's a solid sponge machine. It's an automated fire reactor. That's absolutely the coolest thing that I've ever worked.
You can't just throw that out there and just leave it. Talk a little bit about it. Say that
Yeah.
again.
It's an olive-fibered bioreactor, and it's used to culture cells and span cells in a closed system.
Yeah.
It was in London. So you upload your cells in there and you just wait, right? That's everything. That's everything. It's a completely automated process. You just take samples. You have to monitor, the process if your cells are growing. Of course, I mean, it doesn't have a camera, right? So you can't really actually see what's happening inside. But you can monitor, parameters and to make sure everything is growing because flying inside. And you can, it's incredible because it's a very compact, it's such really small bioreactor, a lot of fibers. And, the cells, and it depends, grow different cell lines, right? So I work on a specific cell line, and that at the end, you got a huge enough library for a huge field of cells, and then the two of these dopes. And so I was really pleased.
See that, folks, right there? There's true scientist answer right there. I normally get cell phone, laptop, or some piece of software. Sarah's talking about cell separation devices, things like that. So that's pretty cool. Appreciate that. How can folks stay in contact with you? I'm thinking you have a phenomenal story. You have a phenomenal industry that you're working in. You're in a great position to continue to educate. Especially the generations coming after you. I will definitely put in the show notes your Twitter page, right? So you'll start getting more followers on Twitter probably. But again, is this
Yeah,
probably the best way for folks to get in touch with you in case they have
LinkedIn.
any questions after checking this out?
They can use even my LinkedIn platform or
Okay.
yeah, Twitter is fine as well. But I'm on LinkedIn as well. And because that's where my whole network is. So I have a lot of groups. So it depends, but they can use both. I don't use Twitter that much. So, just like, yeah, made an account with these.
Oh, we're gonna find a way to blow this Twitter up. We're definitely gonna find a way to get you some more
Yeah.
followers for sure. Um, Sarah, I want to be cognizant of your time, and I want you to get that opportunity to maybe go out and run in the rain today, because that's what's happening right there in your neck of the woods. I know that's
And
on your
that's
mind.
I can.
I know that's on your agenda. But first and foremost, and I'd be remiss. Thank you for taking the time today, right? Because I think this was an important conversation. This was different of a slightly different conversation than I typically have, right? Especially on perspectives and focus, because I wanted to dive behind the scenes, pull kind of the veil back, and let folks have a conversation and hear from someone who is in the trenches. Right. Again, I'll typically talk to folks who are on the front end, folks who are talking from a financial perspective, folks who are talking about the managerial side and kind of the strategy. But it's the folks that are actually on the line doing the operation pieces that we need to hear from as well, and understand that their role and their activities matter. Uh, the company matters, but more importantly, the people that are doing the work matters. So that was my goal, right? So that was my selfish goal for having this conversation today. And Sarah, I appreciate you for coming on. I wish you nothing but the best. And if you had something you wanted to say in closing, I'll leave the floor for you. Then we'll end.
Well, it's been really a pleasure really talking to you and discussing with you and I really learned with you said. I mean, extremely value the workforce and what's the workforce, especially in such biotech industry and also in diversity, inclusion, principles. So yeah, I appreciate really this conversation. Teams.
Awesome. All right, go put on those New Balances and go hit the work and go hit the road.
Absolutely.
You guys have a great day. Appreciate you now.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thank you.